You.
Yeah, I'm also doing well.
Great.
Yeah. So, can we have a small introduction of everyone over here?
Of course, why not?
Yeah. Can we start with you, Amit, please?
Just a second, let me switch on my camera first.
Yeah, please.
Hi, Nitesh. This is Amit from Ahmedabad. I'm having around 15 years of experience into HR,
Oh, great.
and I just got the message day before yesterday. So I just wanted to know, like, what are the new things in strategic HR? I just wanted to learn. So that's the reason I'm just here.
Okay.
I've been working as an HRBP since last 12 years with IT companies. I scale up the companies from 60 to 1500, 1600. Now I'm currently consulting a couple of companies to scale them to the next level.
Okay. Great. So, this scaling is in terms of revenue, or we talk about scaling in terms of increasing manpower?
Both, because
Both.
when we are talking about revenue size, you can also earn the revenue with 50 employees. The same revenue you can also earn in 200 or 300 or 500 revenue size. So what actually CEO's vision, right? We have to understand the CEO's vision, the business, what business they want. They
Correct.
actually wanted to give the most of the employment, or they wanted to only increase a good people. Because I also seen the company who has 50 employee, but they are very well paid. And I
Right.
seen the company who are having around 300, 500, 1500 companies, but their average pay is so below than that 50 employees.
Correct, correct. So when we talk about scaling an organization from revenue point of view using uh, manpower as their strategic advantage resources, right? Then it becomes utter important for HR to make these people more competitive.
Very
Correct,
true, very true. And most of the HR are fail here, because one of
correct,
my friend mentor, Dave Ulrich, he also guided me that, I mean, don't focus about, the revenue size. Just focus about the people, what value they are bringing on the table. That's
correct.
what the revenue.
Absolutely. And,
And
and that is where the HR as a business partner role comes into picture, right? Where HR is responsible for making their employees so competent that the revenue per employee, if we see in an organization, right? I think the CHRO's KRA or KPI should be only one thing, that increasing revenue every year per employee to by at least 20 to 25%, right? So there you can use strategies as training as a tool to develop those competencies, project exposures, right? So all these strategies combined together all focus towards delivering the value just by increasing the competitiveness of an organization, right? Because when we say that HR or human resources is the only competitive advantage. Right now, there would be n number of IT companies in Ahmedabad. Right, I'm sure for that.
correct, correct.
All would be working on similar technology. All would be having same finance or similar finance from the banking or investors. Right, and mostly all would be having good infrastructure. So when I do a comparison, so the technology they are working is on same, say they are working on Microsoft technology or SAP technology, right? Or they are having similar finance or similar investors. Even it is quite possible that one investor is investing similar amount of $1 million in both the IT companies, and they have the best of the IT infrastructure which is available at par with Bangalore and contemporary your places like Pune or IT hubs of Delhi or Chennai. Correct. So the
Correct.
only source of competitive advantage becomes your employees.
Correct. Absolutely right.
Right. So the more competent the employees, the more revenue will go. Right. So when you monitor the matrices in HR, right, that is one is your
Network.
training spent per
Yes.
employee, learning transfer
Mhm.
done per employee, and revenue per employee.
Cleverly.
So when you monitor these three matrices, you can easily come to know that what is the contribution of employees, how they are becoming more competent, and how it is contributing to the business revenue. And when
Right.
you are able to align these things, correct? This
Correct.
is where the strategy of HR gets aligned with the business strategies. And then you design interventions, HR interventions, which are basically directly impacting the business results. And this is where the linkage or integration of HR strategy with business strategy happens.
Very true. Very true. I agree. And that's the reason I, just implemented one matrices like, profit per employee, cost per employee, which is
Correct.
helping me to balance, like, how I can optimize the cost and increase the profitability. Because every department
Absolutely.
has a different manpower, different cost involved. Let's say if I talk about
Right.
HR has a recruitment, L&D, everyone is there. So how much
The
cost I'm
benefits
involved?
administration cost.
Everything. So how much cost I'm putting across what ROI I'm getting from that HR people, that is also, I'm bringing on the table. And that's what the making very difference in other companies and our companies. And that's how I build it up. This is what
So
we have
this
to
is how
focus.
HR builds the competitive advantage,
Right.
right, over other IT companies.
True.
So personally, I feel that your employees should be so much competent that they appreciate that yes, organization is investing on me, right? And
Right.
that directly impacts your retention strategy.
Absolutely. The new hiring, employee, when employee is leaving, it is so much cost. I
Correct.
always say that CEO that you have invested this guy like lakhs, millions of rupees, and if he's leaving, and if you're hiring, you are investing double the money because
See,
he's
Amit,
not
what
leaving the
happens
company
is,
actually.
Amit, basically the thing is that we don't have a concept of understanding cost of vacant position.
Very true. And
Correct?
very rare people are understanding this cost of vacant.
Position.
Yes. And they are not understanding this position so thoroughly that this is really, because costing us are so high.
Right.
Yep.
Now when you don't monitor this thing, right, you don't become serious about recruiting within 40 days or 50 days of the turnaround time given for you. Right.
Right.
And when this the cost of vacant position or a particular position is vacant for more than decided period, right? It is negatively impacting your EBITDA.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right.
Right.
And when we talk about EBITDA, we are directly talking about the business,
Business.
right? And this is where HR recruitment or talent acquisition function gets aligned with the business strategy, right? Now, if you
Yes.
don't monitor this, right, business managers, their EBITDA is going down or their
Right.
EBITDA is increasing, right?
Right. Right.
And the cost they are impact it is getting impacted for HR not recruiting on time, right? It is making them furious. Correct.
Very,
There would be
very,
n
very
number of
true.
reasons why HR is not able to bring people on board at right time, but that is a different thing. Now, when you know the cost of vacant position, giving a 10% more rise to a new joiners for making him immediate joining as a giving him as a joining bonus,
Right.
right? The
But that
business
strategy
manager will
should,
immediately agree, but हम एचआर वाले क्या करते हैं? अरे नहीं 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 10% ज्यादा कौन देगा? अरे भाई सामने देखो उसका 120% नुकसान हो रहा है. When he is
right.
ready to pay, he is custodian of his budget, right? Why
Correct.
we are taking call on our head?
Very true. But most of the HR are not aware about what is the project cost, right? And they are not taking that right decision. And that's the reason, we are making very worse decision and it's in a very pitfalls that we are into going in a very dark hole. We are not aware about what is going
Yes,
on up
and
top.
especially
I give you,
those
shall I share
companies who are
one
working.
example, Nitesh?
Yeah,
One of the project costing around 15 crores, and we wanted to hire a five developers, dedicated developers that projects. And CEO's wife has given the budget, like, we wanted to recruit these guys within the 50 lakhs. I said, are you kidding? Are you making a joke of it? Because you are getting 15 crores from that clients and you want to hire in 50 lakhs. Is this the budget client has given? She said no. Then why you are just squeezing the budget? We should go for up to 3
see,
crores,
Amit,
7 crores.
here the problem is, it is the problem of mindset, right? When we say that I have got budget of 50 lakh rupees, right, and I have hired in 40 lakh rupees, that saving 10 lakh rupees, HR is considering it as an achievement. But potentially it is not an achievement, it is a tremendous loss to an organization.
Same was happened with us, and we lost that 15 crore projects. And I
Because in IT
immediately,
company, having people on bench and showing your bench strength is one of the critical factor for getting or grabbing projects.
yes, that's the reason TCS, Infosys, the top four companies are, bringing
Yes,
6,000, 10,000 people on batch because they want to win a big billion projects.
correct. It was good start to this webinar, Amit. Thanks for your contribution, and it was lovely discussing with you. What
Anytime
about
it is.
others? See, guys, similar trends and all these things are happening in manufacturing also, right? Or service sector or IT sector. But the thing is that, yes, prima facie, HR needs to change its approach, how they see HR. It is high time for HR professionals now that not to look in HR as a function, right? You will have to focus on business. And HR would be the enabler which would help to achieve your business goals. Right. Okay. So anyone would like to start with their introduction? Anyone else?
Guys, we are HR. We can speak. There is no fear to speak and share.
See, अमित प्रॉब्लम यही हो जाता है कि जितना कंट्रीब्यूशन एचआर को करना चाहिए, राइट, हम तो हमारे फिर भी हमारे सिमिलर फैटर्निटी में है, वी बिलोंग टू सेम फैटर्निटी, राइट, सो वी शुड बी ओपन टू सच काइंड ऑफ डिस्कशंस व्हेन दे आर हैपनिंग, राइट. You seldom get opportunities like this to express your expertise, to express your concern, and to discuss and deliberate what kind of solutions can be developed for these kind of problems, right? So,
And that is the reason I
Sir,
aimed
may I?
my, yeah.
yeah, Joey.
Hello.
Yes, Joey, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Sorry, actually, maybe I have a network issue because I live in a PG, and because before 10 minutes I was thinking that I should go, but the room so chaotic
Joey, your audio is not audible.
that
Your voice is cracking, Joey. Or am I the only one who is facing this problem from her?
No, same here, Nitesh, same. So, Nitesh, I was saying, मेरा एक aim है, I wanted to see HR should be earning like 100 crores. How HR can be in the club of 100 crores?
Yeah, it is very much possible, and when you're working with business, you have the resources to achieve that thing, and it can be done. But then HR needs to understand the business context first, right? Because say after 6 to 7 years, right, every professional is apt in his HR function, his HR processes, they know how to do it, but it is not about the processes or the HR systems that you have. It is about what kind of actionable insights you are able to get from your manpower planning, your recruitment, your talent management, your learning and development, your performance management. ये actionable insights जब तक आप निकालना नहीं सीखोगे, तब तक आप कितना भी प्रोसेस एक्सपर्ट बन जाओ, it is not going to help, because those actionable insights would directly get linked with your business results, right? In MBA, all of you must have heard that HR strategy should be linked with business strategies, right? But the problem is that these professors, these buggers, don't know how to do it. They would just cram the things. They would teach इसको HR strategy should be aligned with business strategy, goals cascade होने चाहिए, right? अरे भाई, पर बता तो सही कि करना कैसे है. Nobody is teaching that thing.
Correct,
Julia, are
correct.
you in now? Good audio? Okay. So Amit, the point was, and guys, the point was network issue. Okay. No worries, no worries, Joey. Yeah. So the thing is that to do all these things, you need to understand business models, HR models, what kind of frameworks can be used, whether it can be decision-making frameworks, problem-solving frameworks, intervention methodologies that can be used, right? So I think it is high time for HR professionals to look into these areas, right? Because modern HR जो अभी चल रहा है, और what is actually, I would not say modern HR, but the requirement of organizations have changed tremendously over a period of last 5 years, especially after COVID, right? So looking into processes or doing optimized HR processes, that is a basic job of HR, and that is what you are paid for.
Yes, correct.
So always remember one thing. I think I should make this statement today, that salary you are getting to maintain the function, right? And increments or promotions you are getting to optimize and contribute to the function, to the business. So सैलरी मिलता है और इंक्रीमेंट मिलता है, दोनों में जमीन आसमान का फर्क है.
Yes, it is
Right.
correct.
So we need to understand this thing. And most importantly, we are the custodians of that salary and increment and promotion processes.
Right.
Right. So, लेकिन वो कहते हैं ना, दिया तले अंधेरा, it is like that kind of scenario. But anyways, on this notes, let's start our webinar. Right. So guys, welcome to this HR Analytics webinar. I have given the name HR Analytics, but the main intention and focus is to using HR Analytics and other methodologies of Six Sigma, lean management, project management, decision-making framework, problem-solving frameworks, how you can switch from an operational role to a strategic role. Right? And why I am taking HR Analytics as a base, because there is one most important reason is that strategic decisions or change management decisions we take based on terms of data, right? So if you are still making a statement कि सर मुझे ऐसा लगा इसलिए मैंने ऐसे कर दिया, या हमारी पिछली कंपनी में हमने ऐसे ही किया था तो काम कर गया था, the DNA and culture of all organizations is different. So what has worked for you in past is not going to really work for the new organization that you are operating in, right? And it's more, see, understand one thing. Your CEO has established a 50 crore company or 100 crore company or a 1,000 crore company, right? Now, definitely he would have taken some business loans from banks or investors, right? And investors and banks would give you loan only if your data and strategy are in place and they see the potential that this can be a good venture to invest in. So your CEO is already making data-driven decisions. So when you go and tell him that these kind of मुझे ऐसा लगा हमारी पिछली कंपनी में किया था, he is not going to buy that point. So HR needs to be data-driven. You bring out data, you see what data is suggesting you, and then you start making strategic decisions. And not only strategic decisions, other decisions related to your business, to your finances, to your culture, or to your change management decisions. So when all these decisions are related with data, HR analytics is only one of the available system that helps you to capture data. ऐसा नहीं है कि डेटा हमारे पास नहीं है. वी आर कस्टोडियन ऑफ HRIS or HRMS or payroll. You guys have all the data of the organization that is required, right from demography to compensation to performance to competencies. Every data you have. The problem is you don't know what to do with that data. अभी 25 साल 30 साल पहले हाँ डेटा ड्रिवन नहीं थे. डेटा हमको हाउ कैन वी मेजर HR can be measured. The best part is you all guys must be using psychometric tools for personality assessment and all these
Yes,
things.
yes.
And each and every psychometric tool is statistically validated. And psychometric tools are which helps you to decode the personality factor, which is a behavioral factor. And these behavioral factors are being statistically validated. So दूसरा ऐसा कोई फंक्शन नहीं हो सकता HR में कि जो वैलिडेट नहीं किया जा सकता. द प्रॉब्लम इज हमको नहीं पता वो एक चीज हो सकती है. लेकिन ये एक्सक्यूज देना कि HR कैनॉट बी मेजर्ड. I don't take that point from any HR professional. Hi, you tell me that HR can be measured, but I don't know how to do it. Then it is acceptable. Correct. So, guys, there is one author, Marshall Goldsmith, and he wrote a book, right? That what got you here won't get you there. Right? See, understand, this is the corporate ladder which has been depicted. So, आपके पास जितनी कॉम्पिटेंसी थी, जितनी स्किल सेट्स थी, उसको मैं ये मान के चलता हूं कि 80-90% अप्लाई करके आपको जहां पे पहुंचना था उस लेवल पे आप ऑप्टिमाइजली पहुंच चुके हैं. वेदर यू आर एग्जीक्यूटिव, सीनियर एग्जीक्यूटिव, assistant manager, deputy general manager, whatever you are, you have reached to that position by utilizing the current skill sets. And the role which you are now aspiring for, that requires different skill sets. And you cannot reach to that role unless and until you develop the skill sets which are required for that role. I hope the point is clear. Correct. And second thing is that when we graduated, we decided to do MBA or a master's degree. And then we invested around 2 to 3 lakh rupees. We did our masters or MBA, and we gave a boost to our career. We got a job, and based on that boost, we are there where we are today. उसके बाद हमने ना कभी किताबें खोली, ना कभी उन किताबों को वापस रीड किया. सी आई टेल यू, यू रीड वन बुक ड्यूरिंग योर MBA, राइट? For example, you must be having one subject which is known as marketing during your first year of MBA, and you would have been recommended Philip Kotler. Correct? The same book, after 5 years of experience, if you read again, your understanding of that concept will be little bit different because your experience has increased. You read it after 10 years, your understanding will be different. You read it after 15 years, the same book, it will have some different meaning. And after 10 years, 15 years, you will be able to see that how I can use marketing as a subject and apply those concepts in HR for enabling employer branding in the organization. करेक्ट? ये सब्जेक्ट ऐसे ही नहीं रखे हुए हैं वहां पे. All those subjects have their own significance. The problem is that these professors are never able to teach you. Now, attracting a quality talent and having more number of application per job opening, and if you are not getting that, that is employer branding issue. That is not an HR issue. So how HR can increase the perceived value of an organization in market and create a brand? Correct? That can be taken as an intervention. And when you help in increasing the brand value, you are contributing multifold times. Correct? Right. Thanks, Amit, for sharing the book.
It is also the their AI coach
Okay,
called
okay.
Marcel's
So it's
AI
a
coach.
it's
AI
a
coach.
branding coach, I think.
No, you can also ask related to your HR field. Let's say if you wanted to become a HRBP or HRBP VP,
Yes.
then it's in a coach, personal coach. They'll guide you. Marcel will guide you end to end. They'll give
Correct.
you
So they
strategies
must
and all.
have trained this AI on his all past books that have been,
Yes.
he would have.
Yeah, because I've been to Marcel's coaching for 3 months, paid coaching. So I was aware about this one. And
Okay,
I did
okay.
this.
You are the first one whom I found that who is at least is aware of this book.
Yes, I read, and I have 6 more books of Marcel.
Okay.
So I'm a avid reader. So I usually read a lot of books in leadership. I also have a leadership coach, different coach for different strategies. So I'm always spend a money every year. I decided that 25% money of my earning would be goes
Yes,
behind my
these are
learning.
the two things where HR is not focusing. That is, one is having own professional development budget. Correct. And second thing is getting a mentor or a coach. राइट?
Right.
हमको लगता ही नहीं है, अहम ब्रह्मास्मि हमको ये हो गया है.
Right.
राइट?
And I call SIP, investment plan, self
Yes, it
improvement plan.
is self investment in profession. Good to know, Amit. Good to know. Yeah. So, guys, let's get started. So, if you see the people analytics trends, that is increasing like anything worldwide. Okay. So, अगर आप बोलोगे कि नहीं नहीं हमको तो ये करना ही नहीं है, हमको तो इसमें घुसना ही नहीं है, तो फिर आपको कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन घुसाएगी भी नहीं अपनी कंपनी में. इट इज एज सिंपल एज दैट, राइट? सो लेट्स डू वन सिंपल exercise. This is on right hand side. You must be seeing a typical engineering setup company, right? A shop floor. and the shop floor engineers are being recruited. Who would be your first choice, A or B? You can unmute yourself and let's discuss it out for 2-3 minutes. You are into recruitment, you are into talent acquisition, and you get these two profiles. How you will approach them?
Nitish, human talent go with it's on the soft floor, so let's go with the B, male.
Okay.
The created the bias in our mind.
Yes, I am coming to those cognitive biases that we have.
Yeah, Nitish, we'll have to go with the person B at this moment.
Okay.
Uh, the the reason behind it basically is now being an engineering company, you can see the person has to be working on the shop floor. Person might be required to work come in the shifts. A huge
Okay.
material have to be handled by him or her. So again, potentially, if there are a lot of females as well who will also be going through the same patch, and then they will be also accustomed to this kind of environment. But momentarily, the business needs, probably the first choice would be the person with B.
Okay. So Sai says it's B.
Yes.
Amit also says it's B. What about others? Please unmute yourself and participate in this discussion. If I am there, I will ask simple one question. First, give me the job description. What are the skill sets required? And then I will decide which profile is suitable.
Okay.
Right? Coming to the fact that females cannot work in night shift, it is not always required to put them in night shift. Right? You can balance it out. But the first question is, who is more competent and who is more deserving? I will put my cognitive biases of social stigmas aside and I will do a data-driven decision making. There are many companies. Indira Nooyi started her career as GET and she became CEO of Pepsi globally. Tatas have that legacy, right? They never brought their biases in recruitment. A very plain and simple example which makes us understand that how do we approach a problem, what kind of questions we ask to ourselves or to the system, right? And based on that data, what kind of data-driven decision making that we are doing. Correct? So I took this simple example because yes, I know that 95% of the people would have those biases. I just wanted you to understand that break these biases and start getting into data-driven decision making mode. Correct. Right. So now business analytics. There are 4 types of analytics which happens in an organization. One is customer analytics. Obviously, you are capturing all the customer data in CRM. Operational analytics, what is the efficiency levels of your operations and thereby by your of your organization. Then financial analytics, how is the balance sheet and all financial factors performing in the organization. And then comes the people analytics or HR analytics. So prima facie, people analytics is data-driven approach to manage people at work, right? And decision making is done on based on the data which gets
Data which we have.
represented, right? So it is also known as different terminologies of people analytics, talent analytics, workforce analytics, but ultimately it is HR analytics or people analytics, right? So when you say analytics, people immediately think of statistics, right? And that is basically a wrong approach towards this, right? So analytics is a mental framework. It is a logical progression first and then set of data tools. Are we clear on this? Right? So you have to develop that mindset. Tools वूल्स बाद में आएंगे, वो कैसे करना है, क्या है उसकी मेथोडोलॉजी क्या है, we will look into that later. But then first you should have those, so that is where the biases needs to be removed first, right? So you get a frog free clear picture and then you can approach data, right? So now when we talk about data, we all talk about data. Everyone is talking about data. What is a data? So before that, I would just like you to go through that what kind of evolution of HR has happened over last 2-3 decades. I have been witnessing this since last 2.5 decades, right? And even before that, right? So we started our function as a basic need. बेसिक एचआर प्रोसेसेस, पेरोल कर दिया, छुट्टी कर दी, एडमिन रिकॉर्ड्स कर दिए, लीव मैनेजमेंट कर दिया. फ्रॉम देयर वी वेंट टू काइंड हार्ट सपोर्ट, टॉयलेट्स, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर फैसिलिटीज, हाउसकीपिंग, फेस्टिवल सेलिब्रेशन, right? Remember this word festival celebration. 90% of the organizations are still stuck over here. And then they festival celebration को engagement activities नाम दे देते. ये गलती मत करना. Engagement activities are different. Taking your employees on picnic, celebrating festivals, organizing sports days, these are entertainment activities. They are not engagement activities. Have a clear distinction between these two things. Then we got into more emerging function and started having internal controls on head counting, how to hire, how to restructure, basic reporting systems. We started measuring turnovers, absenteeism. We got into technical skills, professional skills development. And then there are organizations who are basically at rapid growth phase. They are more proactive approach. They focus on process improvement, management development, succession plannings, leadership development, right? And then there are business partners. HR as a business partner, where we have strong influence on business leaders, right? We work on an intellectual capital of the organization. We start talking about return on investment of HR trainings or interventions. We start calculating cost benefit analysis. And then a consolidated function where HR becomes an internal consultant to the business leaders. You understand one thing. 70 to 80% of the problems that HR is facing or solving are created by business leaders who are not having good people management skills. Agree? Right? So you become an internal people management consultant to these business leaders. Because with your employees, out of 8 hours, 7.5 hours they might be spending with their bosses, with their business leaders, not with HR. So अगर कोई people problem हो जाता है तो prima facie responsibility वो business leaders की है, HR की नहीं है. वरना अगर HR की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेना शुरू करोगे तो सारे बिजनेस लीडर्स जितना भी गंद मचाया होगा वो सारा आपको साफ करने के लिए दे देंगे. I have created this mess, now sort it out. And that is where your operational roles comes into picture. That is why you are more engaged operationally and not able to contribute to the strategic function. So now just take 15 seconds and see where your organization is at which level and what is the role that you are contributing in that organization. And after 3 years and 5 years down the line, which organization you would intend to work with, and to do that, what skills and competencies you will need to develop. Make sense? कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है कि आपका डेजिग्नेशन एचआरबीपी मिल गया है। डेजिग्नेशन मिलना कोई बहुत बड़ी बात नहीं है, लेकिन आप फिर भी अभी भी फेस्टिवल सेलिब्रेशंस कर रहे हो। Now see the contrast. Now when you go for an interview in companies who are integrated or in rapid growth mode, and they tell you that what is your concept of engagement, and you say that we do Diwali festival celebration. ये रंगोली कंपटीशन का मीम है ना, इसी पे से निकला है। करेक्ट। सो इट इज, डोंट यू थिंक हमारा
Correct.
रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है उसको चेंज करें, हम लोग एक परसेप्शन चेंज करें। मैं कितने आई एम फाउंड ऑफ स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियंस, राइट, एंड व्हेनेवर ऑफिस सेटअप की बात आती है ना, हमेशा एचआर का मजाक ही उड़ाया जाता है। यू मस्ट हैव आल्सो ऑब्जर्व्ड मेनी अ टाइम्स।
Yes, yes.
अभी आपको एक्सेप्टेबल है तो है अभी, और हम कुछ बोल भी नहीं पाते क्योंकि हम ये कर रहे हैं। एनीवेज, yeah, so I hope this another small exercise was helpful to give your thought clarity about what HR and how HR should be functioning. Right? So we talk about data. What is data? Can anyone help me with defining data?
The information which is gathered after talking to the employees.
Set of information. It
Okay,
should be anything in raw informations.
correct. Should we say information or should we say facts?
Facts.
Okay. So data is collection of facts such as numbers, words, measurements, observations, or just description of things. So when they are into number, words, measurements, it is known as quantitative data. And when it is in form of description, it is qualitative data. Right? So we have both the techniques where you can measure data quantitatively also and qualitatively also. So you have different sets of qualitative analytics and different sets for quantitative analysis. Correct? Are we clear on this? So now there
Yep.
are 5 V's of data: volume, variety, velocity. Velocity in a sense that how soon you are able to capture data. एम्प्लॉय ऑनबोर्डिंग हो गया, पता चला उसका डेटा आपके पास सिस्टम में 3 दिन के बाद आ रहा है। वेरिएबिलिटी and what is the value of that data. Right? So remember these 5 V's of data. This will be helpful. This concept will be helpful in how you perceive data. Right? Now, a big question comes to me every time. Sir, what is difference between analysis and analytics? Any idea, guys? You must have, or you are using these words interchangeably. Today you have decided I want to learn analytics. So when you start learning analytics, you are learning analytics or you are learning analysis. So first, data analytics is a broader term. It is a, you can say, a superset. And in that, data analysis is basically a subset, right? And second most important, analysis is past focused. क्या हो गया है? And analytics is dynamic and future oriented. हमको क्या करना है, किस तरह से अचीव कर सकते हैं ये चीज. Are we clear on this? Analysis is past focus and analytics is future oriented and dynamic. Right? Now the matrices which you measure, there are also two type of matrices. Right? There are lagging indicators and leading indicators. So lagging indicators, when you do the analysis, and the indicators which give you historic value or historic perspective, they are lagging indicators. So lagging indicators वो होते हैं कि जो हमको बताता है कि क्या हो गया है. एब्सेंटिज्म हमने निकाला 18% आया, वो हो गया है, तो दैट इज अ लैगिंग इंडिकेटर, राइट. हमको एट्रिशन 22% से 15% पर लेके आना है, हम किस तरह से करेंगे, दैट इज लीडिंग इंडिकेटर which gives me a peak in the future. Okay, so I hope difference is clear now.
Yes.
So now based on this, that we have analytics, analysis, lagging indicators, leading indicators. What are the type of analytics available with us? Right. So one of the first analytics, the type of analytics is the descriptive analytics, the MIS report that you are generating currently. Right. So it is very easy to generate and it contributes very less value. So when I see in the matrix of value versus difficulty, right. So descriptive analytics, the MIS report that you are generating, that is a very basic form of analytics that you are already doing in your organization. Correct. Then diagnostic analytics. Attrition 22% है, तो ये क्यों है? You are entering into diagnostic mode. This also you must be doing. Right. Then comes the predictive analytics. What will happen? मेरा absenteeism का trend of past 6 months or 1 year is such that in next month, I think if I do the regression analysis, I can come to know that this is what kind of absenteeism I can expect. And based on that, I will do my manpower or take absenteeism as manpower as a considering factor during manpower planning. So I will factor that in. Correct. And then last is the prescriptive analytics. How we can make this happen? हमको क्या करना चाहिए कि ये एब्सेंटिज्म या एट्रिशन कम होगा? So HR basically prescribes that do these areas. So now to give that prescription, you need to capture data, you need to analyze data, you need to bring out solutions, you need to work on problem solving frameworks, you need to work on decision making frameworks, and then you will be able to decide that what prescription should I give to this organization so that we achieve the desired outcome. So guys, clear with type of analytics? Right? Now let's look into what is HR analytics. These are the type of analytics which are generic in nature. ये फाइनेंस वाला भी इस तरह का एनालिटिक्स करेगा, प्रोडक्शन वाला भी करेगा, डेवलपमेंट वाला भी करेगा, हर कोई कर सकता है ये एनालिटिक्स. अभी हम एचआर एनालिटिक्स, अवर एक्सपर्टीज जो है, हम जिसके लिए बात करते हैं, हम उस पर फोकस करते हैं. राइट. So the core of HR analytics is the metric. Metric 5th 6th स्टैंडर्ड में सबने पढ़ा हुआ है, राइट? सो व्हाट इज अ मैट्रिक? See, I would be going at very fundamental level, at your schooling level पे भी मैं जाऊंगा, क्योंकि ये कॉन्सेप्ट्स आपके क्लियर नहीं है या तो आप भूल गए हो ये सब. What is a metric?
How are you going to measure that?
Okay, and what will happen after that once you measure it?
Tangible data. They provide tangible
Tangible
data, actually.
Yes.
So that is what the metrics main purpose, to see
Yeah.
the
So
tangible
metrics
data.
can be said as data that conveys meaning. You have 18%. Correct. So it is just conveying a meaning that absenteeism or attrition is 18%. That is a metric, and that is why we call these things as metric. Right. So employee turnover is 18%. This is data. Right. But when I say there is a rise of 4% in attrition this year, comparable basis, right? Then it becomes a metric. Correct. Is the difference clear between data and metrics now? Right. Now, when I say that inappropriate leadership style of a selected manager in a particular department has contributed 4% on YOY comparable basis. हर एक के पास हर एक डिपार्टमेंट में एक ऐसा मैनेजर होगा जो मीन्स टेक्निकली बहुत साउंड है, लेकिन टीम मैनेजमेंट पीपल मैनेजमेंट कुछ नहीं आता, और उसके बिहेवियर की वजह से एट्रिशन बढ़ता है ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में. So when you come up with this statement that inappropriate leadership style of manager is contributing 4% to attrition, this is analytics. Got it, guys? Are we clear on difference between data, metrics, and analytics?
To go in root case and to find out the ideal problem with the
Correct.
solutions, that is analytics.
Correct. अभी रूट कॉज जानने के लिए you should be aware of what are the root cause tools available from which I can do root cause analysis. You should be knowing YY analysis. You should be knowing Pareto analysis. You should be knowing Ishikawa diagrams. Now these things are available not in analytics. These things are available in Six Sigma. Correct. So what I have done is that my HR analytics program, I basically focus on, yes, analytics तो करना ही करना है, फिर use tools of Six Sigma, tools of lean management, tools of project management, and that becomes a comprehensive package. Are we clear on difference between data, metrics, and analytics? Right? So it has not to do much with numbers. It is the logic and the reasoning that you use to compare or link two matrices. Right? It's an aptitude which can be developed. You need to construct meaningful matrices. It's not about quantity कि मेरा 25 लोगों में है तो मैं क्या ही एनालिटिक्स कर लूंगा, नहीं, उसमें भी हो सकता है. It is the logic that you use to link those matrices to the results that you are getting. Right? And it is not about using a software tool. सबको लगता है टेबल्यू सीख लूंगा, आर सीख लूंगा, पाइथन थोड़ा बहुत आ जाएगा, एसक्यूएल सीख लूंगा, वो एनालिटिक्स नहीं है. These are the tools which helps you process the data faster, because processing that data would take time. So you use a tool. It is as simple as when you get a calculator. Normal function which you do is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. And when you get an answer 4, then you say that this calculator is working well. Correct?
It is showing visual impact, like
Yeah.
visually what we get in front of us.
Here, my point is, Amit, you should be aware that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. अगर आपको नहीं पता 2 + 2 = 4, then you cannot validate the efficiency of the calculator.
Correct.
करेक्ट. सो ये जो बाकी के जो है वो सब टूल्स हैं, लेकिन फंडामेंटली आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि 2 + 2 4 होता है. अगर उसने 5 बताया तो आप बोलोगे कि ये कैलकुलेटर गलत कर रहा है. करेक्ट. सो व्हाई वी डू दैट? What gets managed or what gets measured gets managed. You can have return on investment, you can improve performance of the workforce, and you can link business objectives to the people strategies. और एक सीईओ मेरे को बता दो जो ये बोलेगा कि मुझे ये नहीं करवाना मेरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में. आई डोंट वांट दिस थिंग्स इन माय ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. विल एनी सीईओ से that I don't want return on investment of the training and the interventions that are happening? I don't want to improve the performance of the employee or competencies of the employees. I don't want to link business strategies and people strategies. No CEO will say that. Many times you get to understand that CEO approve नहीं कर रहा, मेरा बजट नहीं कर रहा, ये नहीं कर रहा, वो नहीं कर रहा. बिजनेस केस बनाते आता है, बिजनेस केस बनाओ, प्रेजेंट करो, ही विल अप्रूव. करेक्ट. वो बंदे ने 100-200 करोड़ रुपया बैंक से लिया है, उसको पता है कि किस तरह से प्रोजेक्ट करना है. अगर बैंक उसको 100 करोड़ देगा तो वो तुमको एक ट्रेनिंग के लिए 2 लाख रुपया नहीं देगा. बिल्कुल देगा. प्रोजेक्ट करते आना चाहिए.
Very well said, Nitesh. Projection.
करेक्ट. So business case, how do we create a business case? Nobody teaches us, and we never care to learn. That is the problem. Right? So there are some myths. I require statistics. I need to learn Power BI. I need to create fancy dashboards. Then dashboards is end of things, what you project, right? I need to capture lot of data. No, it is not required. It consumes lot of time. Once you set up the system, it is automated. It can be automated. And most importantly, it is job of data scientist and not HR or HRBP. Forget about it. A company employing 250 people is not going to hire data scientists for this. And if you do the job and you learn things and project it in a proper manner, it will be directly impacting your promotions and the salary increments. Right? So, what framework can be used to become a data driven decision making HR professional? Understand business problems, brainstorm analytic solution, collect and analyze data, interpret results, provide insights, and recommend actions. You need to understand these things. Now, at each stage, you will require different tools. And you need to develop those competencies of using these tools effectively. Correct. So how do you do data-driven decision making? You have the demographic data, you have the pay data, you have the performance data, you have the engagement data, you have the ATS data. You define correct matrices. You optimize the processes. And then you clean that data and apply analytics tools. And from that, you create actionable insights, you create actionable interventions, And then you basically present it to management and create a business impact. To learn these things, you may require only 2 to 3 months. To practice these things, 8 to 12 months. The more you practice, the more apt you will get. Right? So this was the framework design for intervention. And we use Six Sigma framework. That is DMAC. That is, you define, you measure, you analyze, you improve and control. So you define the problem. My attrition is at 22%. You measure the matrices, collect baseline data. You analyze the data. You design solutions that how it can be improved. And once it is improved, you achieve your desired result that my attrition level I need to bring from 22% to 17%. And once that is achieved, you control it or maintain it. And this is how the policies are formed. This is the fundamental basis of forming an HR policy. So when you want to make it once you understand the process is stabilized, you convert that process into a policy. And then it becomes standardized. And once it is standardized, then you design SOPs, standard operating procedures. Right? And now, in each stage, there are different tools that can be applied or that can be used. So project charters, business impacts, voice of customers, affinity diagrams, process mapping, data collection, increasing process capability measurements, multivariant analysis, root cause analysis, cause and effect, FMEA, failure mode effect analysis, hypothesis testing. How many of you are aware of hypothesis? You might have subject of operational research or research methodology in MBA. Right? So there is null hypothesis, there is alternate hypothesis. You use test of validation such as F test, T test, Z test. Correct? And then you validate those hypotheses. Then design of experiment, fractional factorial, evolutionary operations, and then control, standard operating procedures, control charts. So these are the tools that you have to use. And then implement your interventions. Right? So cause and effect, check sheets, control charts, histograms, Pareto charts, the 80-20 principle, scatter diagrams, which helps to establish relationship between two variables, such as my training hours and productivity, or my job satisfaction and retention. So when I do a Q12 employee engagement survey, Gallup survey, am I able to correlate between your employee engagement index and your retention strategies or attrition rate or your retention rates? Right? Are leadership development programs creating a performance impact? You design an intervention that yes, our leaders should go and do some course in IIMs. Correct? You do the executive development programs, EDPs or MDPs. Right? But after that, are you measuring those things? That has that program created a business impact? Has the business performance improved? You create 2 slides and present it to management. Was this program has impacted? Now let's do one thing. We have done at managerial level. Now let's do it second line. Let's focus on senior executives and assistant and deputy managers. And now let's send them over there to this program so that there is alignment between your 2 grades, the business manager as well as one line down the hierarchy. And this is how you start improving the team dynamics, because they all come on single platform now. Their thought process is aligned. Otherwise, कितना भी outbound training करवा लोगे, that is not going to help. For them, it is going to be a picnic of 2 days and 3 nights and 2 days, right? So they will go, enjoy, have fun, booze out, and then come back and जैसे थे. Right? So now this is the role of HR, where you should punch in the accelerator. Right? Designing flow charts, process maps. So these kind of process maps you can design. There is a language of process mapping, if you are aware of, that is used by software developers. IDF 0. Right? Normally companies with CMM level 2 on 3 or 4 or 5, they would be aware of these things. Right, Amit?
Yes, agree. And they are using, sometimes mind map too to
Correct.
analyze the flow of the process, how policies and the entire department is working.
Correct.
Because if you are same level 5 or 3 companies, then there will be a lot of challenges for auditing as well. So
Yes.
they make complex things very easily to be easily understandable for everyone. If someone just reading the SOPs, they'll easily get it.
Correct. Right. So now how HR analytics and tools of Six Sigma or lean management can help to improve your process. Right. I'm giving a very simple example where one of the consulting organization, we used principles of design thinking and Six Sigma in analytics. Right. So the problem statement was line managers were not happy. They were complaining HR is taking too much time to recruit people. And if you monitor the cost of vacant position, which we discussed earlier during this program, right, they are fuming because of that thing. Right. So we took improvement methodology, business process improvement methodologies like design thinking, applying lean principles. Right. We took a systematic problem solving approach and the process was improved. So if I give you the previous state on left hand side, you can see the recruitment cycle times in days, right? And then we worked on that process for almost 6 months, the HR team and we improved the process. So you can see we measured the variance, we measured the mean, we measured the standard deviation. The upper limit was around 40 days, lower limit was 60 days. So if I want to measure the process capability of my recruitment process, so CP is equal to USL minus LSL divided by 6 standard deviations. So I have the USL, I have this lower limit, I have the standard deviation, the CP value, the process capability was 21.21. CP is not having any units. Okay, 6 months we worked on those process improvements. Again, we measured, means every month we used to measure it. Standard deviation came down from 11.83 to 3.65. When we again measured the process capability, it was 0.68. Right? Statistically proved the recruitment process has improved. These things you can also do it. And this variance means standard deviation can be measured in Excel. No fancy tools or softwares or any hi-fi programming is required. Right? See how the CP value or the improvement in process capabilities has happened. 0.21, 0.27, 0.41, then it dipped to 0.39, 0.54, and 0.68. Can anyone questions this contribution?
At all.
Nobody.
Not at all. Because they have significant change. The
Yes,
variation of change they brought upon to the table. And that's how this graph is showing also.
yes,
Here we see 0.21, 0.27. There is an 0.05 points, but it's a very big change.
correct.
That's we have to understand.
Now, when we measure this thing and when we show this improvement, right? Put this slide in your appraisals. Put this slide in your resume. Your next interviewer will always ask that, Amit, tell me how you have achieved this thing. This is the problem that I am also facing. And then when you have done this thing, I am sure you will confidently explain him everything. He will not ask you a single question apart from this area.
True. Very true. I agree. 100% agree.
Correct.
Even they don't do look at the resume because they've seen that this is what they want. What value I'm bringing on the table.
You are solving their pain area. And then you ask for 35% increment. And you tell him that this is one of the area. There are other 10 projects which I have done. And all the 10 areas are pain of every organization. And even if you are a consultant, Amit, if you solve this problem, the founder will happily pay you 3 to 5 lakh rupees for this consulting. Correct?
100%. Yes.
Because now the thing is that if I put this from consultant point of view, correct?
Correct.
We are only offering strategic consulting or operational consulting. 30 to 50,000 rupees per month retainer. Right? You focus on specific problem. You tell them that I will improve this, and you can charge lakhs.
They'll happily pay.
Right? And how you can relate it now? As your recruitment cycle time has decreased, you are onboarding employees well on time or even sometimes before time, and you are saving on cost of vacant position. Now, if 3 crores are spent or saved on cost of vacant position, correct? You ask that I will charge only 1% of that
Correct.
or 0.1%. So this is how this can help you to take your consulting also to next level. Right? So I hope
100%. 100%.
I hope guys now you have understood the concept.
Yes, Nitish.
Yeah. So let's take another example, which I did in Panasonic. Right. We will look into, I will just go run through this quickly. There was a group mediclaim policy. The cycle time was processing the claim was 129 days against a standard cycle time of 30 days. So we took that process for improvement. We set up the project objectives, the research design, we defined the total population, sample size, type of sampling we used, right? We defined hypothesis. The tools which we used were process mapping, brainstorming, fishbone, Pareto, standard deviation, and process capability calculations. This was the brainstorming exercise done with my team. This was the fishbone analysis where we concluded that the improper training to the process owner as well as to the end users that is required. We did the Pareto analysis. We came to know that 80% problem is with the people's training. right? We started interventions, we executed interventions, we carried out awareness campaigns among workers because these were people who were means barely literate or illiterate kind of thing, right? And then the document awareness increased, process cycle time reduced, high moral was reflected. And if I put it in a graphical presentation, you can see the cycle time has reduced from 129 days to 30 days, 31 days, against standard cycle time of 30 days. And the standard deviation also decreased from 88.72 to 5.56. And my process capability increased from 0.06 to 0.9. That is, it got operating at 4.5 sigma level. Normally, we don't calculate sigma levels of our HR processes, but you can do it. Right? So the further action was defined that 4.5 पे पहुंच गए तो we need to improve the CP value to 1.6 from 0.0 from 0.9, which will help us to reach to the sigma level of 5. And that is very optimized process. These kind of levels, Amit, you must have seen in around CMM level 3 and 4 companies. Correct?
Correct.
Now impact on business, it was 119%, the benefit administration cost. Mediclaim premium, for example, we paid was 1 crore. The claim benefit was 1.19 crores, right? So next premium, no doubt they increased our premium little bit because the claim was there, but then yes, whatever we invested, we brought much more back than the investment, and management and CFO was happy with this thing. Okay. So this is
Basically,
what
good ROI.
yes, this is the ROI. Right? This is what founders and CEOs and everyone wants. Right? So you can do this. And do you think it is time to relaunch your career, HR career, with these kind of tools and techniques, and most importantly, mindset? Right? So what you need to do is that you really need to transform yourself. So are you ready to take that transformation? Give me a yes in chat, or you can unmute yourself and share your views on this.
Correct, Nitesh. We'll have to come out of the cocoon. Then only we're able to fly like a butterfly.
Correct.
And that's the need of the hour as well, basically. I mean, like companies are expecting us to work to the designation and to the salary what we are being paid.
Yes. Because then ultimately, see, any CEO or any founder is basically investing. Right. And when he is investing, he will definitely look for ROI. Correct. So the question is that how much you are ready to do this, or how much do you think there is a need, or I need to do this aggressively, right? So I think it's already 12:25. It has been more than 90 minutes. It has been around 90 minutes that we have been discussing. Right. So I was planning to conduct skill assessment, but then I think we have time constraints. and you might have some social commitments as being Sunday today. Right. So basically what I do, see, I will just show you what is to be done and how it is to be done.
Nitesh, is there any course or is there any live sessions for this learning?
Yes. So basically, first thing what I do is I do a skill assessment of an individual, right? That is on 5 competencies, right? And these competencies are data analysis and metrics, HR technology and digitalization, organization culture and leadership, strategic HR and business acumen, and change management and HR processes, projects. So now these are the competencies for your next level, not the current level, right? So how I will show you just how it would look like when you take this assessment. So you will be able to generate this kind of gap analysis report, right? So this is the score that one participant had got, 52%. And I think minimum you should be somewhere around 75%. There is a gap of 23%, right? And this gap is evidently visible in the graph, right? And then I give you a coaching framework which you can apply and learn, where you will get what knowledge you need to have, what modules, what kind of assignments needs to be done, which competency will get impacted, and what will be the tangible behavioral outcome of when this competency gets improved. Correct. And then during this project, you can take up these kind of interventions, 10 interventions, retention blueprint implementation, where you use of tools of HR analytics and Six Sigma, manpower planning and workforce optimization, dashboarding and metrics frameworks, behavioral interviewing and high quality hiring quality matrices, DEI, which is one of the most upcoming trends currently, your performance management revamping, employee experience and engagement analytics, learning and development effectiveness and ROI. You can design case studies and you can design interventions, succession plannings, and HR process improvements. So during this project or during this program, you will have to take up a live project. It is not going to something that I am going to give you a data dump and then you practice by yourself. No, it is not going to be like that. You have to take up a live project, and we will be working on live project and we will be creating a live business impact. And it's normally a 3 months program. The schedule is defined. What you will learn in session 1, session 2, and at the end of the project, what you will be doing is a capstone project with implementation. Right? So you will learn tools of analytics, data collection, Six Sigma, project management. Right? And most importantly, there will be faculties who are ex-IIMs, XLRI and TIS, who would be coming to take your mindset and strategy sessions. And you will be presenting projects in front of this eminent panel. And after these projects, do you think, okay, tell me one thing. Just imagine a scenario where you are able to implement these kind of projects, create dashboards, put it in your resume, and discuss this thing with your top management or with your future employer. What impact it will have. And these things within just 5 to 6 months.
It will be a game changer for the HR person, because ultimately the ball it into our side,
Yes,
because we are the decision maker whether I should join this company or not.
yes,
And then the other side of the CEO, he would be behind me like, yeah, please join my company. I wanted to, because his pain
correct.
areas he wanted to resolve
Now,
it.
Amit, I tell you my portfolio. Okay. The companies that I have worked with. I have worked with Jubilant Organosis. I have worked with Aditya Birla. I have worked with Adani's in their corporate as well as I was heading their power plant. And I have worked with Panasonic.
Superb.
Right.
This is impact driven.
This is impact. And these are the companies I selected to work with. Got it? मैंने
Got it.
सोचा मुझे अदानी में काम करना है, मैंने अप्लाई किया, वहां पे पहुंच गया. I decided to work with an MNC like Japanese MNC. I was having, because I did my Six Sigma certification way back in 2005. और फिर मैंने सोचा कि यार Six Sigma, after doing Six Sigma, at least if I don't work with a Japanese multinational, this is going to be in vain. So I worked with Panasonic. I was heading 11 manufacturing units. And 4 promotions in 6 years. Manager, senior manager, assistant general manager, deputy general manager. Before that, I was with Adani. Before that, I was with Birla Cellulosic. Before that, I was with Jubilant Organosis.
This is really a growth.
Right. And my year-on-year growth in Panasonic was 27% on an average yearly. Just imagine 27% yearly growth. And it is not that only me. The people who I mentored, I will show you just one example. He joined with me. I hired him as executive HR in Panasonic. He is Abu Bakar. I hired him way back in 2012, I guess. Yeah, so he was hired as senior executive at Panasonic, 2012 to 2014. He was trained and mentored by me. And today, after 9 years, he is Human Resource Director, Global L&D, HR Tech and India HR. एक बार
Awesome.
सेट हो गया, once the mindset is set. Hold on 1 minute. Once the mindset is set, everything will follow. Hold on 1 minute.
Sure.
So these kind of results can be achieved. And this fellow is only 2010 pass out. MBA Human Resource 2008, 2000 batch, 2010 batch. Just 15 years. There are many more to show, but that is okay. So now the question is, how many of you want to get into this trajectory? And it can be achieved. There is nothing that it cannot be achieved. Right? So things can be made phenomenal. It takes time, but then you have to set up a right foundation for that. And then things will escalate. It is like, have you seen ISRO sending a space rocket in space to maybe Chandrayaan kind of things? Once the thruster is there at our launch base, it goes into atmosphere. At the end of the atmosphere, the thruster is ejected. A new thruster is used to enter into the escape velocity. Then comes the third booster. So there are 3 boosts that are being used. So आपका first MBA boost हो चुका है. It is exhausted now. Now you require a second booster to maybe reaching a position of say general manager or a VP or DGM or senior manager. And then the third booster will come after 5 years to reach a position of VP or director or CHRO. That is where the third booster is to be used. Correct? So that means I know I'm giving quite, I don't know what kind of analogies these are, but this is what I think that will make you understand in a most simplest manner. The same thing we need to do it with our careers also. Right? So how many of you are really ready to transform themselves now in next 3 to 6 months? It will require your time, energy, and efforts. But then if you put in till retirement, you are sorted out. I can assure you that thing. Right? So should I share the link to book a one-to-one call or meeting with me?
Yes, please.
Right? I will do one thing. I will just share my WhatsApp number. You can share me. You can say that I want a one-to-one meeting, and I will send you the link, a personalized link, where we will be spending around 45 minutes or so. Right? You can WhatsApp me. I will share the link with you guys. And I will present you the entire program after the assessment. And then you can decide upon whether you want to take this further or not. right? So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Kumar, Somnath, Sanjay, Shibin, Trupti.
Nitish, anyone can do this one, or it's required irrespective of experience. Like someone with the 4 years of experience, 5 years of experience can do join this course, or
Yes, but see, the limit, the lower limit I have kept for this program is at least you should have minimum 5 years of experience. Because the thing is that when you start doing the interventions, right, at that time you will be required to change some SOPs. You will be required to take some financial resources or decisions, right? So people with below 5 years of experience, they would not be in position to bring those changes and create an impact. So for them, it will be more of a learning rather than implementation. But yes, if you are at 10 years of
true.
experience, you are in position to decide by yourself to change any process or system in the organization, or at least influence the top management to make that change. Right? Because when I ask you to design a project charter for this program, right, I also make sure that your HOD is in consent, and I ask them to take and make them also party to this intervention. Because forming cross-functional team, changing in processes, allocating financial resources if required, then his consent, your GM or director or VP or CHRO will, you need to take him into confidence. So 5 साल का है, और तब तक अगर करेगा तो सबके क्या उतना मेच्योरिटी भी आ जाता है, प्रोसेस understanding the organizational dynamics and all these things. At by 5-6 years, it is they become mature enough. So for 0 to 5 years, I always recommend that get your fundamentals right first, get things into perspective, start developing a mindset, and then after 2-3 years, then come for this program. Otherwise, it will be not helpful to them. Otherwise, if I want to take few enrollments, earn some money, but then if it is not fruitful to them, I don't think it would make sense to recommend anybody that program. Ideally, 7 to 8 years to 15 years, you can do wonders if you sincerely do it.
Got it.
Right? Any more questions? It can be anything, not only apart from regarding this program. If you have any confusion, or you require some clarity on thought process and all these things, you feel free to ask me. I will answer you in best of my capacity. Since we don't have any questions, okay. Right. So guys, how was the session? If you can, anybody can help me with feedback so that I can improve upon.
It was an informative and eye-opening. I would say there are a lot of things which I was not aware about, but I was aware about few things because I also started Six Sigma and Lean management through YouTube and the Udemy Institute only. But it was
Okay.
not so detailed the way you explained the examples to approach and the values
That
you
is,
brought upon.
Amit, that is the typical problem with going with content from YouTube or Udemy or doing some courses, a basic level of courses. The in-depth understanding, if you don't get it, right, it will not help. Then
Right,
there are more chances that you will get stuck more miserably.
right. Thank you so much, Nitesh, for conducting these informative sessions. Just I wanted to conclude because I want to run for some other stuff as
Yeah,
today's.
means I've already taken you guys 1 hours and almost 45 minutes.
Thank you
Thank you
everyone
for
for
sticking
participating.
by, and thank you for being a patient audience. I hope it was informative, or you got some insights on your own development. And I'm just iterating it once again that if you want to get your skill assessment done and put your career on fast track, then just ping me. I will be more than happy to help you and put your career on fast track. Could you share the details? Which Shibin, which details you want? You want this PPT? Okay, I will share it with you guys. Right. So I hope those who are interested in getting your assessment done would have messaged me. Right. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Have a nice Sunday.